it's time to chat about grading records. Will this stack of records right here beside me make the grade? Let's find out. Hello everyone, it's Pirate again, and today we are talking about grading records. Now, I'm going to be creating an in-depth video talking about this for my crash course in record collecting. However, there was an opportunity that presented itself that I just had to jump on. And this is called Making the Grade, and it is a little project I am part of along with a whole group of great YouTubers. Value Vinyl, Horror Biz, DJ Highnoon, Tales from the Crate, and Steve Carlson. If you haven't subbed to any of them, you absolutely should because they are great. And I'm going to leave a link to their channel in my description. You should all go check it out, of course, after my video. But we are all tasked with getting a stack of records and grading them. So essentially, I think along with any other hobby, there is really a scale, I guess you could say, that a lot of the items can be graded on based upon their value. And there are records that have high value, there are some that don't, and it really all depends on the quality of the record itself. And there's a lot of subtle nuances, but there's a stack of records here that we're supposed to go through and grade. So essentially, when you grade something, you look at the medium itself, and you also look at the cover. So we're going to do something a little different here. So I'm going to sit here and show you each of the records, my general first impressions. And then after every one of those records, I'm going to make a small cut, and you're going to see it a little bit more up close. So if you've been watching my channel, you know I do some unboxings. And I have that overhead view, that really nice area where I can kind of show you things. So after every single record, I'm going to sit here and kind of grade it myself, and then I'm going to show you what I mean by that and kind of back up my claims. So don't mind me, I actually have a whole bunch of notes here to kind of go off of. So without further ado, let's start. The very first record is a record, it looks like an orchestral record. It's Brahms, a variation on a theme. I cannot read this. It's been a while since I had cursive. So there's a scale to everything. So before I really start, we're going to go over everything. So there's mint. There is near mint, so there it goes mint, near mint, very good plus, very good, good plus, good, and then fair and poor. So that is the scale that I am going to be holding on to. I know some others probably do different scales, but I have all my little notes here that I'm going off of, so automatically we're going to start with, we always start with near mint and kind of go down from there because unless something is sealed, it's not going to be mint. So we're going to go judged off the cover first. So what I'm doing here is I'm just checking the seams, top seam, ooh, a little split there. Ooh, we got a major split going on here. Ooh, I don't want to damage anything, but we got a major split going on here. And we can even see that the record is coming out of here. So I would definitely give this, so far, even though there is no ring wear in this, it's not looking good for me. So I'm also going to take out the media because we are also grading on that as well. Well, definitely, this is not going well for me. So the obvious reasons, and also, ooh, I could smell a must on it, and it looks like there might actually be a little bit of a stamp or marking on it. So I would grade this. I would definitely say a poor condition. This is, if I saw this in the thrift store, and even if I was after this, I would definitely not go for this just because of the package alone. I made some exceptions in the past, but those were rarer records, and I've since cleaned them and cleaned up everything. But so far, this to me is poor. I mean, the cover in the front's fine, this and that, but just the splits and everything, I would seriously not buy this. So I would definitely grade this a poor. And now we're going to take a look at the record itself. So first of all, I have to talk about this. So this inner sleeve is just awful. Like, just, I would nix this right away if I bought this. So definitely going off of that pour. And now I'm actually going to take a look at the record. So first thing I do is I always check to see if it is warped, and I can show you that on when we do the overhead. And now I'm just going to take a look at the record itself. So I'm going to put it under a light. I have a light right beside me. See a couple of dings here and there. Okay, see a ding here and there. Not sure if that doesn't look like, there's a couple of nicks on this thing. It doesn't look like it is at all too bad. Well, that's there. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to make a cut here, and I'm going to go to the overhead view. Okay, so here is our first record, the Brahms. As you can see down here at the bottom, there is what is splitting through. As I said earlier, here is the seam split that is rather nasty, as well as the top here. The back looks okay, you can still read it. And then, of course, as we take out the record itself, you can see, obviously, that is no good. But you should be able to tell right here, and you can see all the dust and where I'm going from. So there's that little scratch right there. There's even a newer scratch that I just noticed where my thumb is. It's not too bad, it's dirty, but what I mean by not too bad is if I was thinking I was going to buy this, it would be okay for it to be dirty because I'd be cleaning it, but just overall, there's some stuff you really can't see. Let me just see if I can get that going. But this was, I stand by what I said earlier. So there's that one. Also, before we move on, I noticed that I put it on my turntable just for a moment just to kind of see if it was warped. And there was one little piece. Can I find it? Can I find it? There was one little piece I noticed of like dust, and it was actually on the outside. So that is a little bit of a knock for me. Okay, record number 2. Sorry for the brief pause, but I just realized as I was going through and making the video that I forgot to actually grade the first record. I didn't actually make the grade for it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. This is for the Brahms. And I'll go into any subtle nuances when it comes to grading when I actually do my crash course video on record grading. But overall, I would give the cover itself. The cover includes the inner sleeve a pour, just because of the seam splits, the media falling through the bottom, and overall, just everything. I gave that a pour. And for the actual media itself, I gave it a good plus, borderline very good. The scratches that I saw on there looked like they wouldn't affect playback, and also it was just a little dusty. It just needed to be cleaned really good. So yeah, that's about it for now. I do apologize, and we'll be getting back to the video in 3, 2, 1. Is Mantovini's Greatest Hits, Charmine, Greensleeves, Exodus, Moulin Rouge, Around the World, Some Enchanted Evening, Games That Lovers Play. Okay. So far, not faring well either. There is distinct just ring wear on the edge and in just the middle. Definitely, picture-wise, this is probably worse than the first record. We can look at the back as well. There is some seam splitting. It looks like that is happening on the spine. Not as bad as the first one, but just like the first one, the record is protruding in the bottom area. I would definitely say this is another poor one. This is not in good shape. I might actually sound harsher than some of my colleagues here, but this to me is just another poor record. If I picked this up and I was looking at it, that record better be good on the inside for me to pick this up. But yeah, this is definitely still borderline poor, maybe fair, but still this is borderline poor, especially just because of that ring wear. And let's go ahead and take a look at the inner sleeve. Well, definitely it has a semi-better, no, the inner sleeve is just as bad. The inner sleeve on the first one, I know it's weird, but I smell the musk on it. That's not a good sign for me. But the other one was completely falling apart. This one is in a little bit better shape. And when we go over with the overhead shots, you'll see what I mean. But you can see right here, as I'm holding it, it's not faring well. So let's go ahead, and now we can take a look at the record itself. So let me scratch a look at this. A little dusty. The other one was a little dusty before, but nothing a spin clean, a quick pop into the spin clean can't fix. So let me check this side. Already, this is a lot better than the other one, I will say. If I had to pick over this one over the other one, I would definitely pick this one because this one's not too bad. This would be up to my semi-standards, but this one is a lot better. And you may have noticed in the past one, I gave my grade for the actual media on there, so I'm going to do the same. So let's go ahead and we're going to cut to the other one, but I also did want to say that this does not look warped, and I'll pop it on the turntable just to be safe to make sure there is no warping. All right, here we go. Maltovini's greatest hits. As I said earlier on the video, you can see the obvious ring wear that's going on with this. Give you an idea of the back. It is a little bit, worn with age, of course. Down here, we can see the record peeking through. And there's some splitting. So if I run my finger, it is easily accessible. And there's the top. And of course, I said earlier, this record only on stereophonic equipment. Way to plug the brand. So let's take this out. Of course, we can see the seams are split here. And when we look at the record itself, a little dusty there. And of course, I'm using my light up there. You can see my studio equipment to really kind of highlight what I wanted to show. So, I showed earlier, didn't look too badly warped. But there are some, I was looking up there, there are some surface things that I noticed, but they're not showing up here on camera, even though I really, there's like right there. That's what I was talking about earlier, here and here. All right. Not much more to say on this one. We could also see, like the other one, just showed before. This is yellowing with age. Before we move on to record 3, I just want to let you know that this is just subjective to me, so I don't know some of this, and I've been collecting for 6 years, and sometimes for me it's still hard to grade things. So bear with me as I go through this. So the next one we are going to take a look at is Christmas with Ed Ames. Okay. So far, not too much better. Compared to the other two, you don't have as much ring wear. There is a little bit. You can't really see it because it's not black, but there is a little bit here. There is cracking on the spine. Not too much cracking, a little wear and tear on the top. Record is falling out on the bottom. Let me also just check. Overall, the picture's not too bad. You can't tell the ring wear unless you're looking at it up close. But if I had this just kind of sitting all, I would be okay with this. I would put this at just because of this down here. I'm struggling to put this at good because especially right here where my finger is, it looks like it has a little bit of water damage to it. So I am definitely thinking that it is going to be. I'm borderline saying this is good. I definitely, for me, it is definitely not poor. It is fair. So I would definitely put this at a fair. And let's go ahead now and take a look at the record inside. So we have a generic picture inner sleeve. And it is still has the same issues as before with the splitting. So far, it seems like it's actually gone up in quality just by a little bit when it comes to the sleeves. But let's take a look at the record itself. So this is on Polydor. Okay. Well, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, stop right there. So, Christmas with Ed Ames. This is not Christmas with Ed Ames. This is Lily Tomlin's. This is a recording. So it's not even the right record. So that's going to knock it down quite a bit. Yeah, wow. That's going to knock it down quite a bit, but let me just take a look at the record. It is dusty. Woo! And this one, let me first take a look and see if it is warped. I'll pop it on the turntable before we cut. And no, this is a poor press. Oh. It looks like, when I look under this slide, it looks like something chewed this, or it looks like there was a rat that ran across one side of it. This is not up to my standards. There's a whole bunch of dimples in the record, and there's some scratches. I'm okay with some scratches because some of them can be just not surface and they don't affect the playback quality, but this, no, this is a poor record. And when we make the cut, I'll try my best to kind of show what I'm talking about. I might even put a couple of pictures up if I get like zoomed in quality. But no, this, I can tell already this is going to be a poor pressing. This just for me is not that good. If I was even excited about this at all, I wouldn't be like, because of course I check everything that I buy, especially when it comes to like a thrift store or anything like that. But I could just tell, nothing felt right about this. So let's go ahead and we're going to make a cut and I'll show you this record. Okay, moving on. Next up, we have Christmas with Ed Ames. Again, we see the light ring wear on the top. We can see, it's really cool with this background because we can actually see where everything's kind of starting to split and kind of show its age. Here's the back. Not too bad. I mean, the back here, it's not yellow too much. If we look here, we can see the record peeking through. This right here is showing minor damage. And this right here is what I was talking earlier about, just a little bit overall damage. And where was it also? Like here, I just feel like this is kind of water damaged. So let's take a look here at the media itself. Again, not a really good sleeve. Someone just dropped it in there. Never drop your sleeves. Never drop your records in your sleeves. And we can see Lily Tomlin. You can see right where my thumb is. That little bit of, right there, there's another scratch by this thumb right here. For the other side. See a little, when I said ew, it was like right there. There we go. There we go, up by my thumb there. That's where I said it looked like a rat ran over it. Let me see if I can. I apologize for taking this off camera for a second. I'm trying to find that area where I was talking about the dust on the side. You know, I still can't find it, but I swore there was some dust on this side here, but oh yeah, and there as well. That's what I was talking about. Looks like an animal ran over this. Okay, so we are now good to move on. I didn't play any. I wanted to preface before we moved on. I didn't play any of these. I just put it on my turntable and had it spin. So that's what I meant when I popped on my turntable. So we're moving on to the second to last one. No, yeah, second to last one. And this is Eddie Peabody Plays. And so far, this looks to be the best of the bunch. So, first of all, I actually really like this cover. I don't know what it is about this, but okay. There's a couple of cool songs on here. I might check this out on YouTube a little bit later if I decide to actually play this before I move on. But there is a little bit of ring wear on the back. There is just a small bit. It's starting to split, but it's not to a bad way, like the way I've seen them. It does have a little bit there, but so far this is the best out of the bunch. I would say so far this is the best cover. Now I don't know about the record inside, but I have no problem with, let me just make sure that that's not even popping through there. It's not bad. I would be definitely more liable to give this the best grade so far. Let me just check also the side here. Check it under the light. Again, a little ring wear here and there, nothing too big. The color's not faded on this, I don't think. This actually looks really cool. But I would give this one good plus borderline very good. I'd actually give this a very good. I'm a little more lenient on this just because it feels solid. It feels like it's this one was kept at least in a decent area. The other two kind of just felt like they were thrown around, played a lot, not cared for. This one at least feels a little cared for. So now we can take a look at the stuff inside. I also like to just check. I'm also checking here to make sure I don't see any light. So yeah, I'm happy with that being very good. No mold that I could I could hear of. Still, the splits on the inner sleeve, so someone just kept dropping it and dropping it. It's a shame, but normally when I get records like this from the thrift store, I already have another sleeve ready to go. So as soon as I clean them, and I do clean them, it'll be ready to go. Let's see here. Eddie Peabody, When You're Smiling. Let me make sure that this is actually the same record. No, this doesn't look like the same record. Let me make sure. No, this is not. This is another Eddie Peabody record, but this is not the same record. Okay. At least I don't think so. And this is disappointing. Okay, so I'm looking at here. There's a whole bunch of scratches on this. Well, that's a shame. Well, it was a different record anyway, so no, this would not live up to my standards. There are obvious just ring scratches over it. It looks like somebody just took sandpaper and spun it all over this record. And there are what look to be, I'm just not even touching the playing area, I'm looking, there look to be significant just scuffs all over. And that is not good. Let me just check to be sure of the warp. But so far, I am not looking good on this one. This one, I would say, let me just look one more time. I would give this, I struggle to give this a fair, but looking, it's not as scratched as some of the other ones, so I'm going to definitely give this one a fair. And let's go ahead and we're going to cut to the overhead shot now, and you'll see what I mean. Boo. Probably my favorite looking out of all of them. So there's the front for you. Notice there's not much degradation, there's not much wear. A little bit here, but that's forgivable, at least for me. The back, I sometimes miss these long paragraphs about the person on the back. The top, not too bad. We see some peeking here, but not in a too much bad way. And the A little bit of wear and tear on the side. A little bit of wear and tear from here. Let's look again. This is Eddie Peabody's When You're Smiling, Not Eddie Peabody Plays. And there's some of the scratching. Where I said the ring scratching, it's like right here where my thumbs are, and even then there's some scratches right here by my right thumb. And here's some scratches on this thumb as well. My left thumb, and then the right thumb down there towards the bottom. Nothing on the sides there, but hopefully this is highlighting it good for you. So not much more to show on this, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We move now to the final record, and this is Mantovani Magic, Mantovani and his orchestra. Sometimes these, not tick me off, but it's just, you can tell the age on them when it says, and his orchestra. It's like, come on, give credit to the musicians that worked with the person. Come on. So now we are going to take a look at this cover, and we are, it seems like we went up only to smack down. It is not the worst out of the bunch, but there is obvious just fading. There is some damage right here on his face. There's tape left over. Not much splitting at the top. Not much spine splitting, though it is starting to. Where Eddie Peabody had a little bit. This is starting to get to that point. Thank goodness there is no record pushing through at the bottom. Here, it says play this record only on stereophonic equipment. Well, it's years later. So let's go ahead and take a look at the inner sleeve. There's no inner sleeve. Whew, that is the number one thing. I will never buy a record if it has no inner sleeve. That just is disappointing to me. But these aren't mine. These are part of a project, so I'm going to judge it on that. And because of that, no. That is going to dock it a lot. I was going to give this a fair, but because of that, it does not have an inner sleeve. It is going to be, well, the inner sleeve is going to be there, but I try to do both of them together, and this is just, I'm struggling between fair and poor, so hopefully by the time we cut to the final here, I'll make my decision, but I'm tossing between fair and poor, and I see a little bit of this, so, ooh, this looks like it's been beat up on, but it's not as bad as some of them, but just because of the fact that some people didn't remember to put their inner sleeve in, and I'm definitely getting a musky smell. I'm thinking poor is going to be the one for this, because I'm just now noticing a little bit of this, so I definitely think this is going to be a poor. And let's take a look at the record itself. Whoa. I am sorry for that reaction, but what? I have never seen something like this before. Oh, I've seen Scratch to Hell records, but this is taking the cake. It looks like someone took magic marker to this. Looks like somebody just scraped it across the floor like they were trying to clean it. I mean, look. I don't know if you can see that, but looks like somebody took this to the floor and just scratched it. This is a poor pressing. You're going to hear that, and it's going to affect the sound quality. It actually looks, when I put it up to the light, it actually looks worse as you move it in and out of the light. I have never seen something like this before. Wow. So this is definitely a poor pressing, a poor pressing. And even if I was really excited about this, wait a minute, is that a bug on there? There's a little speck of something on there. Ugh. But no, this is a poor pressing. And let's go ahead and cut to the area so I can show you exactly what I mean. Finally, our last one. So again, with the red cover, you can kind of see a little bit of the ring wear, a little bit of wear here and up here across the top. Let's do At the bottom, we can see obviously the tape here, and just a little bit of wear up here. At the top is showing that split wear, not so much on the side, and the bottom, non-existent. And of course, as I showed earlier, no sleeve. Why no sleeve? That always angers me. And now, just look at that. Like, what is that? What in the HE double hockey sticks is that? Even then, there's some scratching down at the bottom. There's another scratch down here. This one is just a mess, including there too. Ugh. Let me just pull it up here real quick. Make sure I didn't miss anything that I wanted to show you. Like, what is that? What is that? I didn't touch the player, by the way. What is that? It's just ew. This one's ew. All right, I think we are done. So let's wrap things up. So let's go over this again, just so we can get a quick recap. Record number 1, I gave the cover a pour, and the actual record itself was good to good plus. For Mantavini's Golden Hits, I gave the cover a pour, and I also gave the record very good. Record number 2, I gave the cover a pour, but I gave the actual media itself good to very good. The first 2 had no warps from what I saw. Christmas with Eddie Ames, it's not even the right record, so it has to be knocked off for that. This right here, I said the cover to me was fair, and the actual LP itself, it's poor already just because of the mix-up. It was already knocked down quite a bit because it was the mix-up. So even if it was something that was interesting, I had to knock it for that. And then I gave the actual record itself a pour, and it does have a slight warp, at least from what I saw. It could be my mat. This was probably the best of the bunch when it came to the covers. So I gave this one, just because of a little bit of splitting, I gave it a good plus to a very good. Even though the inner sleeve was split, if I brought this home and I was happy with it, and even if like the record itself matched, I would have been okay with that. So this is good to very good, and the record itself wasn't the same, so I had to knock it for that. And I also gave that, I'm looking at my notes here, unfortunately this one, even though the cover was interesting, and I probably would have wanted to listen to it, it's not the same, and unfortunately it was a poor pressing with a slight warp. And then finally this one that kind of, not ticked me off, but maybe a little angry, that when I see these like this, it makes my heart sink. And this is the bad side, I guess, of collecting, but I'm having fun doing this. So I gave this here, this one I gave a pour and a pour. So yeah, thank you so very much for watching. Everybody else that I mentioned at the beginning of the video has their own videos on this subject. Again, I'll leave a link in the description below to all their channels so you can check out their videos. I want to thank everybody for letting me be involved. This is something that was very fun to do, and thank you so very much for not only watching but letting me be a part of this. And as I say at the end of every single video, when the waters get rough, I hope you keep on sailing. Even if you feel like no one else believes in you, I believe in you, and I will see you next time.